Yo, what is going on, everybody? Jay Woodif's back with another video. You know, I mean, I really like these videos, like of what if Deku was Moon Knight? Like, I like doing videos like this of like Marvel heroes and stuff because, okay, I'm a nerd. You guys can tell by the videos that I make, but I'm also not just an anime nerd. I also really like Marvel and DC because that's what I grew up on. But yeah, so you guys seem to have liked this series so far, so why not? Let's keep it going with what if Dracula owed Deku money? Okay, starting off, I want y'all's opinion on something really quick. You guys just leave this down in the comments. Like, I'm trying to have y'all like interact more. Like, I gotta know if y'all like enjoy these things. So leave a like, subscribe, leave a comment. So, but what my question for you guys is, do you guys like the noise canceling mic? I mean, if I didn't have it on, you guys would hear two of my fans going. You guys would probably hear my candle crackling. But like, tell me now, because like, if you guys don't enjoy it, then I'm not gonna keep like going with it. Like, if you guys like the background noise from like the popular people that don't really use noise canceling, let me know, because like I know personally, like I don't really focus on that. But if you guys want me to keep going with this noise canceling, or if it sounds a little bit like janky, because I'm using Crisp, no sponsor obviously, but I'm using Crisp microphone. So if you guys do enjoy the noise canceling, please comment down below like that. If just comment that down below and I will keep it going. So like I said, let's get into it. Okay, one final thing, I promise. Do you guys want me to make an intro? But I promise that's like the last thing. Like, I promise if I do, it'll be dope. Like, I will peep game and lock in for this. Anyways, let's get started. So I believe we left off last last part with actually them picking out their hero names. So we ended up seeing Deku choosing Moon Knight, and man, I cannot, like, I was about to like chew gum before this, but I was like, nah. But anyways, he chooses Moon Knight. We see Bakugo choosing Ground Zero. That clean name. I don't care what anybody says. I think Ground Zero is tough. Jiro picks her regular name. I don't remember exactly what it was. But anyways, I'm going to say that after this, they pick out their interns, and of course, he chooses Aizawa. And actually, no. I would say, hold on, actually. Actually, yeah, I'm going to say he ends up choosing to go with Aizawa because I feel like I just feel like that's what he could choose. And so, but don't worry, I'm not gonna make Ida, bleh, in this one. So what I'm gonna say happens is, Izuku, he's training with Aizawa, and he's like, "Yo, Aizawa," and Aizawa's like, "What?" And he's like, "I'm gonna go out for some vigilante. Am I cool to just go on my own?" And he's like, "Do whatever you want. I'm going to sleep." And he's like, "I bet." So he puts on his Moon Knight his ceremonial armor. Man, it's been a minute since I made this what if. He puts on his ceremonial armor, and he actually ends up going to Hosu. And he ends up training and being a vigilante for like a week, and he texts Aizawa every night that he's fine. And it's finally one day he hears a scream coming from alleyway. He runs down it and he sees Native, and he sees the hero killer stain, and he thinks, well, I guess if he's there, then I guess it doesn't matter. He's like, he sees the hero killer stain, and he's like, well, I guess Native probably wasn't the best of the hero killers going after him, so I'll just leave it. Because he's like, he understands where Stain is coming at in this one, because he thinks about it the same exact way. Like, if a villain is being that villainous to the point where they need to be, meh, or if a villain or if a hero is just being a crappy hero, he thinks, why should they continue if they're just going to continue doing that? So he's about to dip, but all of a sudden he hears, "Stain, you have killed my brother. I'm coming for revenge." And he's like, wait, that voice. He looks back down into the alleyway after standing on top of the building, and he sees Ida, and he's like, "Ida, no, that's my classmate." And he jumps down and he camouflages himself behind the hero killer just to see what, like, if Ida would run away or if he would try and save Native, because that's what the real, like, the hero would do. And Ida doesn't do that. He immediately goes after Stan, and Izuku's like, "Dude, you don't stand a chance." And he's like, "The moon!" I'm kidding. And he's just like, "Ida, what have you done?" And he, camouflaging himself, he actually takes Native out of there, and then he comes back and he sees Stain about to stab Ida, and he reveals himself and he's like, "Hey Stain, lay your hands off of him." And Stain's like, "Oh, I've heard about you. Don't you find the same philosophy? Don't you knock villains? Don't you break villains and heroes' bones just because they weren't up to par? Didn't you do that as well? So why should I save him?" And he's like, "Because I have a connection to him. And besides, I've always liked your style. However, I've always wanted to go against you. So, now that Native's out of the way, Ida, why don't you use your little engine quirk and run out of here? I've got this." And the hero killer's like, "You would make a pretty good hero. You focused more on the other people before you decided to go after me. Unlike this weakling." And he's about to stab Ida, and Izuku, he pulls out his crescent and he throws it, and he knocks the blade out of Stain's hand, and he's like, "I'm not gonna let you do that so easily." Izuku says that, and with a little bit of flair, and he's like, and Stain is just like, "You're just a kid, aren't you? I know that flair from anywhere. I bet you're about his age, aren't you?" And he's like, "Yeah, you got me. I mean, I get this flair because, the moon is my ally." And ooh, such a tough line. And Stain's like, "Okay, my boy, I see you." And he's like, "Thanks, I came up with that shit on the spot." And he's like, and they dab each other. No, I'm playing. But I can actually see the fight actually going something like this, like Izuku picking Ida up, sprinting out of there, laying him down, and going back. Not sprinting out of there, but getting him out of harm's way. And he's like, "All right, how about we throw some hands, no blades, not yet at least." And he's like, "Besides, you want to be able to cut through this armor anyway, see?" And he takes one of his crescents and he slices through the armor 3 times, and nothing appears on the armor. And he's like, "So your best chance would actually be throwing hands." And Stain's like, "I bet." In a scene so simple. Actually, no, in a scene similar to Sun Jin Woo versus Igris. If you guys haven't seen that, Stain would be Sun Jin Woo in this one, and he sheaths his swords and his daggers, and he's like, "You've got me beat. Let's throw hands." And he does little fist pumps, and Izuku, he's just bouncing up and down like Goku fashion, and he's like, "I bet." Cracks his neck, and he fist pumps, and he's just like, weave, pow, 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 doing headshot, liver shot, gut shot, doing combos on this man Stain. And Stain's like, and he's like, "You're better than I thought, kid." And he's like, "Wait, let me do some things." And they both just start having a brawl, and it's pure street boxing. It is insanity. Ida is just watching in awe. It's just it's jab, jab, cross, uppercut, on both ends. It's like seeing Moon Knight versus Taskmaster, because it's Stain is reading all of his ability, all of his moves before he does them, but he doesn't want to be able to read them. If you guys have seen, if you guys have read the comics of Moon Knight, Taskmaster is actually terrified of this man Moon Knight, purely because of one thing. He is unpredictable for one, but whenever he is predictable, he gets hit. So his style is literally "Oh, you're gonna punch me, but I'm gonna counter that. I'm gonna let you punch me, and I'm countering it, and 2 times. So Taskmaster is terrified of this man, because that means it's a battle of straight durability at that point. So Stain and him are just boxing, and Stain jumps back, and Izuku jumps back, and they both are like, "Huh, you're not bad." And Stain and Izuku's like, "You can try your little weapons, but they're not gonna work on me. So let's get into it." And all of a sudden, he just disappears. He camouflages himself in the darkness, and he's saying, "Oh, someone lost? You can't see me, can you?" And he just hears this all around him, and he's like, "Where are you? Show yourself. Or are you scared?" And he just appears behind him, and he's like, "Who's scared now?" And it's just one of the crescent moon daggers to his neck, and he's just like, "Well, I'm cooked, aren't I?" And Izuku's like, "Yeah. Hey, pleasure for the fight, bro. Just a little heads up, don't go after my classmates ever again." And what he does is he pins him to the wall. He stabs the crescent moon around his neck, around his arms, and around his legs. This man cannot move. And he leaves a giant moon symbol on his chest. And he's like, if anybody says that you were caught, say it was Moon Knight. And if you don't get caught, well, I suggest you maybe stick to your city. You know, the Hosu and wherever UA is, I don't feel like pulling it up. I used to have it in my notes, but like Izuku's just like, don't come near me ever again. And I will turn you in if you do. And Stain is like, I bet, bro. Hey, it was a pleasure. And he's like, of course. I'd love to fight I would love to fight a master of swords, even if you couldn't harm me with them. And Izuku walks off, and he's carrying Izuku on his shoulder, and he takes Native as well, and he takes him to the hospital. And obviously all the Nomu incident happened, but the Nomu doesn't know that they're there. It's literally just street brawling, like. And because Izuku got there so early compared to everything else, like Stain would have been like fully captured before all of the Nomus started popping up. And Izuku takes him to the hospital, and the Nomus start popping up, and he's like, "Oh, these were those things at the UA, huh? Or did I? I can't remember if I had him face him or not. Yeah, I did, and he used the voice of Khonshu on him. And he's like, oh yeah, speaking of Nomus." And eventually he calls All Might, and he's like, yo, when are we doing the thing with that Nomu? And he's like, or whatever that thing was, and he's like, oh, it's actually scheduled for next week, but you're not going to be able to go. Like, we can't have a liability on the battlefield. And he's like, did you just call me a liability? Yeah, nah. I am no liability. You cannot be talking like I'm a liability. And All Might is like, fine, kid, but you better not get in anyone's way, because if you do, it is a life or death moment. If you get in someone's way and someone dies, that blood is on your hands, and I don't want that for you. And Izuku was like, look, if there's any blood on my hands, I've already gotten enough on my hands already. The moon, it keeps my sanity. And he hangs up, and All Might's like, oh, that was so tough. Like, bro. And the next week goes by, and Izuku's there with all of the pro heroes, and he's like, the name's Moon Knight, you can call me nothing else. And it's like, the moon gave me my name, so I will follow it to the end, and I must obey the moon. If the moon says that I am here, then I'm here. And he just goes on this little tangent about the moon, and everybody's like, huh, well, and Khonshu's like, hey, chill out, bro. And he's like, I bet. But the name is Moon Knight, so they're all gathered together, and they're like, okay, we have the location of their hideout. The main driving force of this is going to be All Might. Everyone else is going to be running a protective shield for all of the civilians and trying to evacuate. So that's what they do. They evacuate everyone, and then All Might busts into it, and All For One is just caught off guard. He's like, what? I didn't know you were going to be here this soon, Toshinori. But I suppose it doesn't matter. I have Nana Shimura's grandson right in my back pocket. And he's like, wait, what? The little blue-haired brat? Wait, no. Shigaraki would have gone before All Might would have seen him. Because, mind you, the finals haven't happened yet. Like, All Might doesn't know anything about Shigaraki, and he's like, who's Nana Shimura's grandson? And All For One is like, wait, you never saw him? Because Shigaraki never told him that he ran from a kid. Because he was like, yeah, no, that'd be kind of embarrassing. So he ended up telling All For One what happened in canon. So that way it was like he got away like kind of scot-free from All For One. Man, I cannot breathe. I don't know why. My nose stopped up. But anyways, yeah, so if you guys hear me sniffling a lot, or if it's popping up on the mic, then I'm sorry. But and then we actually see Izuku like hiding in the shadows, and he's like, that blue-haired kid was whose grandson? And he's just like, yeah, whatever. So he's just hiding in the shadows, like waiting for his moment to be able to catch him off guard. So eventually they start having a clash, and All Might, he's about to go into a small might form, and Izuku's like, well, because this battle's gone on for 30 minutes already. Like, All Might was pushing past his limits, like no one's business, bro. Because the second he found out like who Shigaraki was, I feel like he would go on Demon Time. Like, honestly. Like, what he did in canon. So, yeah. After this, I could see All Might, like, kind of getting worn down, and he's like, man, I can't do this alone. I just wish I could take a break. Like, kind of like in the scene of Spider-Man versus Morlun. If you guys have heard that audio on TikTok. Oh yeah, TikTok is back. I know I'm a little bit late, but how y'all feel about it? I know I'm personally happy. It was only gone for like 16 hours for all my American viewers, so I guess we can't be too mad because it is back. But yeah. So after this, I could see Izuku just coming in and being like, well, now you got some, and don't be mad that it's me. And All Might's just like, why are you here, kid? And he's like, well, I mean, I did just catch this man off guard. And he's like, All for One is just like, I knew you were there the entire time. I was waiting for you to finally reveal yourself, Moon Knight. And Izuku's like, dang, you got a pretty good sense. That's crazy, because I never showed myself to you yet. And then it's actually revealed that he wasn't, like, he was still camouflaged, and it was simply, like, All for One, the only reason why he knew he was there was because he's wearing a bright white fit. Even if he can camouflage himself in the dark, if he's wearing a bright, like, white fit, like, he's still gonna be able to see him sometimes. Like, I'm gonna keep it a complete buck with you. Like, I have no clue how that's even a thing, how Moon Knight is so, you know, versatile in the dark. So after this, I can actually see Izuku, like, circling around him, like, what he did to Stain, and then him, like, bang, 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 like, liver shot, and then face shot, and it shatters his breathing apparatus, which reveals his injury, or his, like, scars, and All Might's like, guess you're not the only one who got injured from that fight that long ago, And All for One is like, dang, that kid is strong. And Izuku is just like, man, I've used this since, what, Nomu? And he's like, since that Nomu? And All for One is like, wait, what Nomu? And he's like, how do you think we found this place? And he's like, now, by the voice of Khonshu, you will listen to everything I say. And immediately, All for One, like, he goes under, like, a trance, and he's like, yes, sir. And he's like, and he just learns everything. He learns about all of his future plans, and Izuku's like, what I want you to do is call Shigaraki here, and I want you to kill him right on spot. And All for One is like, yes, sir. Because while I can see All for One, like, picking up, like, a quirk that can actually negate hypnotization, Izuku's quirk is not a, like, Izuku's voice of Khonshu, it's not a quirk. It's like an actual, like, it's an actual, like, superpower. Like, it's not a quirk. It's, like, a god's ability. Like, and I'm only gonna use it for a few things, because, like, I don't want him to be, like, you know, because if you guys think about it, a quirk that can hypnotize people, especially in 1A, or especially in MHA, where everybody's low-key kind of stupid, hate to break it to you, that is kind of OP. And, I can actually see, like, All for One, like, bringing Shigaraki over here, murking him on spot, and Izuku's like, alright, now, I want you to do it to yourself. I'm not gonna say it, because, you know, guidelines. But, All for One then, you know, but himself. And that kind of stops everything, you know, because it was, like, while it was close to the final point, I feel like they still wouldn't have gathered the entire League of Villains that were at the final, like, Forest Training arc. So, yeah, that honestly puts a stop to a lot of future events. Like, the Forest Training Camp arc, while it's gonna be, like, still apparent, like, to all of the other class, like, Izuku really had, like, no use for it, if you guys want me to be so honest for you. Like, what did Izuku do there in the original other than fight Muscular? Absolutely nothing. He was doing the weird need an elbow, need an elbow, need an elbow, need an elbow, like, that thing. So there was no point to it. Also, if my voice changed at all, it's because I'm standing up. But after this, I could see them all returning to class and marveling about their entire internship experience, and Izuku's like, yeah, I kind of stopped staying, and and we stopped All For One, so I'm just better than y'all. No, I'm kidding. He would not rave about that because he later found out that whatever he did to All For One was hecka illegal. Like, and Stain as well, because, you know, he doesn't have his hero license yet. But they gave him a pass just for, like, for the All For One thing, because he got a pass for the All For One thing purely just because of you know, he was with Pro Heroes at the time, and he was sanctioned that he was able to go. That's literally the only reason why he was able to help so much. But, you know, he still did kind of hypnotize All For One into, you know, murking people and himself. So, yeah. After this, I could see Aizawa just being like, we're gonna send you home for some forms to be filled out and blah, 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 blah. And I can actually see Izuku like getting his form signed, and he's like, I wonder what happened to that thing that I used to call Mother. And he's like, yeah, whatever. I don't care too much about that. So he goes up to Jiro after class and he's like, yo, Jiro, you trying to hang out? And she's like, yeah, of course. So I can see them actually going to going to an arcade or two, and Izuku like actually having a lot of fun, and he realizes just how much he likes this girl, and then he thinks that he doesn't have a chance with her because he's done some bad things and he doesn't want her to be a part of that life. And whenever he's in his head and he's thinking about it, all of a sudden she just hugs him and she's like, you were thinking out loud again. I just want you to know that I really like you, and I want to make this official, you know. And this just sends fireworks through Izuku's like brain. It's just like neuron activation. Like I can see that happening. And if you guys don't like how slice of life this one is, it's like the original Moon Knight. I feel like it was a little slice of life, but it was mostly action. Not the original, but like I'm saying the Disney sequel. So after this, I would see a week or two of them like studying, just having fun, like studying for the finals that are coming up. Which actually, they would get some pretty good study time in both different ways, if you know what I mean. Clap, 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 clap. But after this, I would say they both like actually passed the test like pretty easily. Like Izuku's not dumb by any means, and he has Khonshu on his side, so it's quite literally broken. And Tokuyami not using Dark Shadow to cheat on tests is insane behavior. But after this, I could see them all going to the Forest Training Camp, and I could see everyone who passed and failed in the original doing the same. And I could see Izuku being like, yeah, no, they're about to go off the cliff. So they're like on the bus there, and he's like, oh crap, I just realized they're probably gonna do something stupid because we are going here to train. And he's like, I did hear Aizawa talking to people on the phone about cliffs. Oh god. And the second the bus stops, he's just like, this is what he was talking about. And he's like, everybody, we're about to be thrown off this cliff. Don't worry. He's just gonna make us run. So Izuku, what he does is he puts on a ceremonial armor. He holds out his glider and he just starts gliding towards the place. And he's just like, yeah, you know, this will be light work. So he just starts going, and then he sees a pterodactyl in the sky, and he's like, whatever. So he's just dodging and weaving in the air with his glider, and everybody's just looking at him on the cliff still. And everybody's just like, wait, we're gonna be thrown off the cliff? And all of a sudden, the cliff just shatters, and they all fall. And Izuku, he gets there, and like, before the people on the bus get there, and he's just chilling there, like, he has his feet kicked up, and he was talking to Koda, you know? Oh wait, no. He grew up with he grew up there, so he would also know everywhere. So I feel like he would give Jiro a map of the place, like a map of the forest and where all the safe places are. And I feel like he would actually visit where he used to live at, and he would just relive the past. And I feel like he would go and he would see Koda, and they would just talk for a minute. And then everybody would start showing up, and then Aizawa and the Wild Pussycats would show up, and they're all like, dude, you've grown up so much, and blah, blah, blah. And Aizawa was like, give him a break. You gotta keep him humble. He's not that much bigger. And Izuku's like, ouch. But yeah. So him and Koda are just chilling, talking, and finally 4 hours later, I can see because they didn't have Izuku with one for all. Actually, no. Yeah, they didn't have Izuku with one for all in this version. Because I can see him actually giving it to Mirio in this version, which is going to be important. Do I want to cover all that? Let's see. How long is this video so far? I'm no, probably not. I'll probably make a whole video for that. But anyways, at the forest training camp, I can actually see it going down. Like Izuku's just chilling, talking to Koda, and Jiro's actually the first person to show up because she had the map and she knew like a shortcut. And so she gets there like an hour or 2 hours before everyone else does, but she's still like, and she just talks with Izuku and Koda, and Izuku's just like, yeah, this is the kid that I was telling you about, and Koda's like, you were telling about your friends about me, and he's like, yeah, of course, like how could I not? And remember, UA is a college in this version, so everybody's 18, and Koda, I think he was like 9. I can't remember. Yeah, I think he's like 9. Hold on, let me check. Yeah, Koda is like 9 or 10. Yeah, he's 10 in this version. Because he was like 5 or 6 in the original, and they were 16. So add like 3 years. So I think he's 6. So yeah, he would be 9, like 9 or 10. Because Izuku would be like 17 or 18. So yeah. So everybody gets there and they all train like usual, and every single night Izuku just goes out into the woods and he just relives his past, and every single night after this he also just like goes and sneaks off with Jiro to his old place, and they do a little bit of studying, to say the least. They do a little bit of studying, and by a little bit I mean a lot of it. And this is like every single night, and Jiro still focuses on her training, of course. And I could see like her actually like getting a lot stronger than Kanan in this one. So I would say a week or two goes by, because there's gonna be like a month-long break. Like a week or two go by, and everybody's training, and everybody's like, "Wait, why isn't Izuku training?" And he's like, "Come on now, I could take all of you guys in a fight." Like, and everyone's like, "Yeah, I guess you're right." And Bakugo speaks up. Bakugo and Todoroki speak up, and they're like, "You wouldn't be able to take us." And he's like, "I see how you can calm down. You only have one half. Like, you could not beat me. Like, be so for real. You're on here like, oh, it's his quirk, not mine. You're the one that was born with it, stupid. Like, what are you? And that Pomeranian, I know you can't be talking, because I know you would just bum rush me, and I would gut punch you, and you would be knocked out. Like, come on. If you want to be so honest, if the entirety of 1A rushed at me at once, yeah, no, we would not. It would not be fair. Even if 1B happened to join, and then he looks back and he sees 1B and he's like, yeah, still, even if this class even managed, and he just like is talking and he's like, oh wait, is that Shinsa? Like, yo, what up, bro? And it's actually revealed that Shinsa was training with Aizawa. And he's like, yo, Shinso, you got into 1B? And he's like, yeah, I did. Yes, sir. And they dap each other up, and it's actually revealed that they're pretty good friends. And I could see, like, even after the sports festival incident, I don't exactly remember what they did for the sports festival. But, yeah, so after 1B shows up, I could see, like, a few sparring matches going on with Shinso and Izuku, like, and Shinso is actually able to like slightly keep up, and I can see Tokiyami joining and them keeping up pretty easily. And then on the like second to last day, I can see Todoroki and Bakugo. Like Todoroki, like now, like what, like he was thinking about what Izuku said about that, and he was like, I guess you're right. And like he's now like he's starting to use his flames, and Todoroki and Bakugo is just like, angry Pomeranian rushing in. I'll show you who's the angry Pomeranian. Like thinking that was a tough line. It was not. And it was at nighttime, so that way the teachers didn't get onto them. And they're like, yo, Izuku, meet us outside. And he's like, I bet. And he meets them outside and he's like, so what do y'all want? And they go out to the middle of the forest, and I can see Todoroki actually making an ice barrier, like an ice wall, like a super tall ice wall around them, because he's using his flame, so he doesn't want to catch the forest on fire. I'm saying this because we don't like forest fires. Boki the bear taught us this. Nah, I'm kidding. But he still would make up the ice wall, also so that Izuku couldn't run, thinking that was gonna be tough. And this is at nighttime, mind you. So Izuku has free reign, pretty much. But the only thing that I can see going wrong with this is they both have fire and explosions, meaning Izuku's not going to be able to use his darkness. But the second the fight starts, he'll say, "I won't even use my ceremonial armor." And he's like, "Nah, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I will." So he puts on his ceremonial armor. And he's like, "I bet the moon haunts you." And he's like, "You should not have put us in an enclosed space." And all of a sudden he disappears, and they just get ching 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 ching. It's like, and they just like gets like cuts and scrapes like all over their body. Like, think about Haku, what she did, or what he did in Naruto. I almost said she. Holy. Like what he did in Naruto to Naruto and Sasuke whenever they were in the ice mirrors, and they're like, "We can't even see him." And if you guys like the Moon Haunts You line, Marvel Rivals, shout out. Like, we love it. We love Marvel Rivals here. Anyways, so after this, I can see them just getting like wiped pretty much. So yeah, after this they all return home, and Izuku and Jiro, they hang out for a little bit, and then 3 people one day mysteriously walk in the room, and no one knows who they are. Thank you all so much for watching What If Deku Was Moon Knight Part 3, I think. Like, look, I love you guys so much. Like, thank you all so much for the support you guys have been giving on these videos. If you guys have watched this far, I want you guys to type down in the comments, "The moon haunts you," as well as any further ideas that you guys want me to do for What Ifs. Healer Part 2 to Healer Deku comes out tomorrow. So I want you guys to be on the lookout for that. So thank you all so much for watching, and you guys just have a wonderful night or day or whatever time you guys are listening to. Anyways, peace out.